let's take this one more step, because I think we can eliminate a little bit of a myth here. At least I would hope this is the case. You know, when we say Pleiadians or Sirians or Arcturians, many people over the New Age movement in the last 30, 40 years have seen them as extraterrestrials or aliens of such, and that definition is so limiting and to a great extent is very incorrect. But would you talk a little bit about your relationship with the Pleiadians from the standpoint of at least my observation is it's as if these are friends, these are teachers, these are intimate relationships that we each have that we are just beginning to remember. So could you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, and most people actually do have a relationship with the Pleiadians, and they do have Pleiadian friends. It's just that they may not know it. But in my case, as a child, because of Cherokee background and Celtic consciousness also from my grandmother, I was brought up as a small child with the belief that I was actually from the Pleiades. And if there's many places you could go on this planet now, to Bali and India, and start talking to people who just live there and ask them about the Pleiades, and they'll say, oh, yeah, that's their home. So for thousands and thousands of years, people have felt that our planet has a deep relationship with the Pleiades. And, of course, this shows up astronomically regarding the sun as being the eighth star. But in terms of experience, many little children have a little friend. They have an imaginary companion, and often that is a Pleiadian. And the reason for that is the Pleiadians are the keepers of the heart, and Pleiadians love children. And so children have a special radiant energy because they still have not gotten into that fourth dimensional splitting. And so, for example, like little babies, especially babies under 3 months, just radiate this exquisite light. I go around a lot beaming at babies, and I've actually had some strange experiences with their parents because their parents will see their child responding. I have to be really careful that somebody doesn't think I'm pulling off a kidnap patrol, which of course I'm not. But I just love the radiance of babies, and because of that I had 4 children of my own, and I enjoyed that exquisite light with each one of the children. And so the Pleiadians are really the companions of children. Another thing the Pleiadians do is that they are in relationship, very deep relationship with the children on this planet. And so when children are in stress, the Pleiadians are there for them, and Pleiadians assist them as much as they possibly can in this reality. So for me, the Pleiadians are my friends. I've seen them only on a few occasions, and if anybody's looking for them, they usually have blue-white shimmering light. And usually they're like little beings. The closest thing I've seen in the media to them is Casper the Friendly Ghost. They're about 18 inches to 2 feet tall, and they're just little radiant light beings. But I've only seen them twice. It's not common to see them.
The main point is these are not, they're not somebody out there. They're really somebody in here. And speaking of extraterrestrial issues, Jim, the reason this whole mindset is so faulty is that, first of all, a lot of the spaceships and different things that people see are actually secret military testing, and they've just come up with this whole flying saucer program so that people don't really realize what they're looking at. And so the important thing about extraterrestrials, like say Sirians or Pleiadians or Andromedans or whatever, is that in their world, such as the Pleiades or the Sirius star system, they inhabit their world. They live in their world, and they are very much beings who have a life the way we do here. But their frequency is so different that they basically have a very difficult time interacting with our frequency. And if you think of how difficult it is for one of us to move into the Pleiades or move into Sirius, and in my case, I do that more frequently and probably more easily than most people, but it's not easy to move into another frequency. And so we need to realize the reason I think I've only seen the Pleiadians twice in my life is because it's very difficult for them to actually come into this reality as a full-fledged being, if you see what I mean. So I do
in my
understand.
experience, Yeah, in my experience, anybody can be in touch with the Pleiadians or the Sirians or whatever, the Andromedans or whatever. But it is tricky because it's a very, very different frequency. But it really doesn't have much to do with flying saucers and all that stuff. I mean, I think that some of that stuff might be real. There might be Pleiadian ships that float around. But I think most of our contact with these levels is actually it's a frequency and a vibrational communion for us.
If you enjoyed this highlight from Conversations With, join Jim Self live on the third Tuesday of every month at 5 p.m. U.S. Central Time for more stimulating and enlightening discussions with leading-edge teachers, channels, and authors. Conversations With is live on the Awakening Zone Network. That's awakeningzone.com. If you're looking for free tools for your personal and spiritual growth, if you want to be who you came here to be, visit masteringalchemy.com, where you can learn more about Jim, his work, and future guests in this series. Our theme song is Hands of Love by Barry Goldstein. May you experience laughter and grace on your journey home.